depends on what you're talking about, because all the conversation here is about commuter traffic, and the real sort of uproar is not about that. The real uproar is about freight traffic. And so, having, better commuter service, I mean, I think universally people would be happy with it. The third rail is for storing the freight trains so that they don't disrupt commuter service that allows these other lines to run, because that's the one obligation that I understand that the freight company has to Metra, is that they don't obstruct Metra service stuff, which leads to the questions that I have, which just clarifying things is, who actually has authority and control over the freight traffic on that line, and who doesn't? In other words, I know that Metra has certain contractual rights. We keep being asked to do things that we absolutely have no authority or control over. And, when you say that, people sort of get frustrated with you and say, well, that's just because you don't talk loud enough. Well, no, it isn't. It's because there's certain structures in place, and we don't have any authority over those. And I think that everybody here needs to know that, and that there isn't anybody on the city council that is promoting increased number of trains and more toxic substances being transported past your homes. But all those things are under the control of somebody, not us, not the state of Illinois, and we can sort of be Don Quixote all we want to and tilted windmills, but we can't affect that. That's out of our hands. That's the way I look at this situation.
All of us thinking, we can no longer communicate with our citizens on important issues that, albeit, are not before the council yet, but are going through the process. And we should reinforce that with the people, that their focus should be not on the council members, but on the process that we have on the Plan Commission or the Board of Review or the zoning. And they should be working in that committee session to try and persuade them. But to cut off communication, simply saying it's ex parte, it's with an interested party, I have trouble going that far.
Just general comments. Number one, consider me edified. From my perspective, there's quite a difference between listening and acquiring information and becoming a premature advocate for a position, especially knowing that constituencies, your constituencies, and I'm not referring to you individually, have different viewpoints. I'm more than happy to listen, and I read tons of emails, and most of which I don't respond to, mostly because they rarely have questions in them. They're just statements. But it doesn't mean I'm not acquiring the information. On the other hand, being perceived as going out and becoming, early in a process, an advocate for a position, or being perceived to be an advocate of a position, I think is the problem.
It's extremely important that we meet with residents whenever they ask us to meet. I have one luxury as a city councilman, and that is I don't have to make any decision until it's in front of me. So I don't, because I don't know what I'm going to decide until I see all of the facts. But meeting with the residents, they want that. That's why we're here. So to not meet with them, I think, is a breach of duty.
But to give you an idea, I just randomly picked the first three letters of the alphabet, ABC. Let's see what is permitted for this site under our code. In A, antique shop, art supply store, art gallery. B, bakery, barber and beauty shop, bicycle store, bookstore, business equipment sales store. C, china and glassware store, cigar store, clothing store, custom tailor. Those are the ABC permitted uses, and it goes on all the way through, well, probably not a Z, but it goes on through the alphabet. But ask yourself, these permitted uses, how much noise do you get from them? Fumes, exterior lighting, traffic flow, and safety hazards. Is that telling us something as to what the permitted use is for this B1 neighborhood business district is?
I'm very uncomfortable, particularly with aldermen suggesting what kinds of businesses should go in what kind of locations, particularly when they insist on business types that are not economically sound.
I'd like to read another email in response from Alderman Tack in response to a question from a concerned citizen about the undisclosed lobbying payments. Alderman Tack of the 3rd Ward responded that, and I quote, "The lobbying effort was granted by Mayors Schoenheider and Lansing, with the concept approved by several councils. Lansing, Kiley, and Jack were CC'd on that email. His admission that the mayors approved the lobbying effort constitutes a clear violation of the city code requiring matters such as this to be approved by members of the city council, not the mayor. Alderman Tack claims that the scheme was approved by several councils. I have 2 questions for Alderman Tack. One, could he please provide me with the approval that was signed by Mayor Schoenheider and Lansing? And 2, could he please identify the members of the council who were aware of and approved the lobbying scheme at this time, right now?
No.
Thank you. That's all. Thank you very much.